Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Through installment of Scott Selections here for Monday, May 8th. For again today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner in the NBA with Durant over 29.5 points at minus 120 on DraftKings. Really never in doubt. Durant had 20 plus points at halftime. I thought he'd be more aggressive with Denver kind of focusing more on Devin Booker. They didn't stop Booker either, so I guess whatever they tried didn't work. But the point is, Durant was more aggressive. He was efficient once again, and he finished with 36 points. So nice winner. Look for the winner here on Monday. And for today's play of the day, going to stay in the NBA, going to look at Game 4 between the Knicks and the Heat, taking place at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this game, we're going to take the home team in this one. We're going to take the Heat -4 at minus 110 on Bet365. Time recording of 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Covering why we're going to take the Heat in the spot. First reason shopping around -4 is actually a very good deal. You can find the Heat mostly at 4.5 market wide. So you're saving half a point without paying any juice, which I'll gladly take to the bank. And plus, we know the Heat have been very good at home so far this postseason. After losing the first play-in game to the Hawks, they've been really good at home. They've won each of their last 4 home games by at least 5 points. You're looking at how the series has gone, and we know that Miami has won the 2 games with Jimmy Butler relatively comfortably, and the one game they lost was the game that he did not play in Game 2, and even with that being the case, the Heat still had a chance to win the game. To simply put, Miami's just looked like the much better team, and I don't really think it's that close. And to go through the Knicks on the road, they've really not been good offensively pretty much anywhere in this postseason, but especially on the road, as the Knicks are averaging just 95.8 points per game on the road in this postseason. So the Knicks, we know, with their main guys of Brunson and Randall and Barrett, they've been a bit underwhelming so far in the postseason. Brunson's had some good games. He's mostly been hit or miss. Randall's been brutal. I'll get into his stats in a second. And Barrett's okay, but we know that he can be consistent as well. The point is the Knicks really don't have many guys on the roster that I can fully trust. And we also know with Thibodeau's playoff career, the offenses in the postseason tend to not be great under him, which is why his postseason record isn't great. And speaking of which, Thibodeau's postseason record is 30-39 straight up. Spoelstra's is 102-67. Now, I know that Spoelstra had LeBron and Dwayne Wade. I get it. I know that he had a lot of talented teams there, but I think we all know that Spoelstra is a consensus top 2, top 3 coach in the league. Thibodeau is a coach that was on the hot seat entering the season, and I think that he's fine. I know he won Coach of the Year a couple years ago, but I think we can agree he's probably in the top half, but nothing much more than that. Thibodeau's not really known for a guy that makes many adjustments, and I do think that for a defensive-minded head coach with the offense not working, I don't exactly trust him to game plan anything schematically to improve the offense. I think he's just going to hope that his guys wake up a little bit, and I'm not sure that's going to be the case. But I mentioned Randall's bad numbers before. Now I'm going to get into his actual numbers. This postseason, Randall is averaging 15.3 points per game on a 34.6% shooting and 22.9% from 3. And I know he's had some difficult matchups with Evan Mobley and with Bam Adebayo, but the point is Randall has really just been killing him out there. And I do think that until he gets it going, I'm not going to put faith in the Knicks when they're relying on a guy who's once again shooting below 35% from the floor to be a serious contributor for this series. But to go through the overall rosters, we already know that Adebayo has been great defensively this postseason, but to go through the, I'd say, best players in this series, we all know Jimmy Butler's one. We know Butler's the best player by a wide margin. It's not really close. The second best player, a lot of people would probably say Brunson because of the offensive upside, but I mean, if we're including every aspect of basketball with Bam being this good defensively, are we sure the Heat don't have the best 2 players in this series? Like, it kind of feels that way when you're watching these 2 teams play. But once again, the point is the Heat have had the star power show up. The benches showed up as well. And when you're looking at the Heat being great at home and the Knicks offensively being terrible on the road, I do think there's some value on the Heat here. In a way, this series kind of reminds me of the Knicks' first-round series against the Hawks a couple years ago. I know the rosters are different and the Knicks have more offensive talent in theory on paper, but we saw the Knicks win Game 2 in both those series, and then they lost the final 3 games by double digits. I just think that at this stage, they're outmatched. The Heat with a healthy Butler, which was the main question going into Game 3 before Butler played really well. We know that the Knicks are what they are. Thibodeau's not a guy that likes to reinvent things. If it works, then he's going to stick with it. If it doesn't work, then, most times he's going to stick with it anyway and hope it changes. That's why people were thrilled that he benched Randall in the middle of that Cavs game in the playoffs, because that's something that he would normally never do. The point is, I think that the Heat have a better coach, but the better talent, and of course they're at home in the spot. I think the Knicks will hang around in this game for a little while, but I do think eventually the Heat will make enough plays down the stretch. I think Butler carries them in the fourth quarter, and I think the Heat win this game probably by about 8 points or so. But until the Knicks show me anything offensively, I'm not going to back them, especially with how crazy the home court's been in especially the second half of these Heat games. Play there once again here for Monday, May 8th is going to be on the Heat -4 at -110 on Bet365. Bye, everyone.